evening. I'd like to call the Maysville Board of Commissioners Thursday, August the 10th, 2023 to order. We will begin with the invocation from Reverend Lee.
Shall we pray? Gracious Father, we come before you and we take this time here to lift up to you those who are nearby, but also those who are far away that are suffering through tragedy and horrific situations. We ask that your hand be placed upon them and extend to them your grace and mercy. Father, we also ask your hand to be upon our meeting here this evening. May everything we do be to the benefit of the whole of our community and also to your glory. And we ask these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Lee. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Here.
Commissioner McKay? Mayor Cotterill?
Yes, ma'am.
City Manager Wallingford?
Here.
City Attorney Cottle?
Here.
HR Director Rose?
Here.
Project Coordinator Horde?
Here.
Public Works Director King?
Here.
Police Chief Palmer?
Here.
Fire Chief Doyle?
Here.
Utility Manager Julian?
Here.
Zoning Administrator Larger?
Here.
Building Inspector Fawcett? Codes Officer Brooks? Tourism Director Bailey?
Here.
Main Street Director Reese?
Here. Thank you. And we'd like to welcome County Judge Executive Owen McNeil and County Commissioner Joe McKay. Thank you all. Minutes of the July 13th regular and the July 20th special meetings and department reports.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Mayor Cotterill?
Yes, ma'am. Public announcements.
Ladies, events, go ahead, come on up.
Oktoberfest is starting tomorrow, and it'll be Friday, August 11th and Saturday, August 12th. There's lots of events going on. They start at 5 p.m. On Friday, and then it's from noon to 10 p.m. on Saturday. We also have a riverboat in. The American Countess is in tomorrow morning, and then we also have the American Heritage in on Saturday at 2:30. And then next week, we're going to have that car show on Saturday on 3rd Street on the August 19th. And then we should have another commission meeting before Pickers and Grooners and then another vote in on August 26th.
On Thursday.
Yeah, 3rd Street is the car show. It's going to be between Limestone and Market, and then Market and Sutton. You'll still be able to drive up and down Market and Limestone Street.
Okay.
Thank you.
Caroline, did you have anything?
And then we have one more downtown Summer Sounds concert, September 1st, Cincy Brass.
And Mayor, real quick, I'd like to have David give you an update on the depot and some work that'll be going on down there.
Yeah, it's been awarded to a contractor called George Allen Construction, and they're gonna be doing some ADA compliant updates. And basically, most of it in the depot is just the outside part, concrete, the awning that's in the back. They're gonna do some work. They're gonna do some more sidewalks east and west. They're gonna have actually an elevator chair lift, so it'll be, so they can actually, somebody's handicapped in a wheelchair can get in in the rail car to ride the Amtrak and the Cardinal line. There'll be very minimal inside. It's mainly just bathroom stuff, but they'll be redoing downspouts, storm drains, sanitary sewers, waterproofing the basement. Basically, that's kind of what and some paving and stuff like that.
Baby,
That'll start right away.
Is that open early in the morning for passengers?
Yes, it's open usually as soon as CSX employees get there. Now, 6 a.m. probably. So now I don't know if it's open continual all the time, but
At one time, and not too long ago, they had someone who would get the report
Who was coming and they were
Yeah.
open.
and they would go.
But there was one train that came in last week, like 11:30. I just wondered if it was open.
it's usually, it's 11:30 at night. Well,
Of course,
I don't
there's
know.
cars sitting there, so those might be their
Yeah.
cars, but I don't know. Somebody would just get them.
yeah.
And When you said the awning, does that include those poles?
The poles, they're gonna be inspecting them where they go in the ground to make sure they're not rusted off or rusted, and if they will, they're gonna replace those.
Okay,
And this is Amtrak, right, Dave, that's doing
Amtrak,
this, not CSX,
Yeah,
yeah?
this is Amtrak, it's part of their lease.
thank you.
Thanks, David.
I spoke with Commissioner McKay today, and he has requested that we add some trash cans on the West Second Street down toward the small parking spaces, if that's available.
Do we have any extras out at the garage? You know?
I don't think we have any extras, but I can.
Well, let's look into ordering some, okay? And I'll work with you on, we'll get those locations. Got it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any public comment? Appointment, William Bolden, to fill the unexpired term of John Bess on the Board of Adjustment. Term expires on 7/31/25. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Discussion, speed bumps.
So last month, we talked about some citizens who had approached staff and some of the officials about speed humps. And, you know, I didn't reinvent the wheel here. I kind of pulled from various other cities. But I did give you all a copy. Were you all able to look at a proposed ordinance on speed humps? And I just wanted to see if anybody had any issues with it. If you don't, I'd be glad to work with Kelly in getting it. And if anybody wants to see this, you're welcome to.
I'd like a copy of that. Yeah, I read it on.
Okay, yeah, I'd be glad to get you a copy. But if nobody has any issues, I'd be glad to work with Kelly to come up with an ordinance for a first reading next month.
I'm fine with it.
Good, Ann, David?
I like it.
Okay, that was easy. Good. Okay, remind me, I'll get you a copy.
Okay. Discussion, fireworks.
I worked with Chief Palmer on this one and ran this by him. We tweaked a little bit. Again, we didn't reinvent the wheel. We pulled from what Dayton and Campbellsville. We did tweak some of the times on there, but I just wanted to see if everybody was good with that, and we'd be glad to get an ordinance put together.
So is our chief good with that? You good with that?
I ran it by him first, and he was good with it.
And it's open to where it
Yeah.
doesn't cut, I mean, it gives the option to get a permit for a certain time period,
Right.
but, I mean, I think the main complaints you guys, council were getting, and Matt was getting was
All week.
Yeah.
violating the noise ordinance, why aren't you doing anything about it?
Yeah.
And we were, but we really didn't have anything to stand on other than the noise ordinance. This gives us a little bit more
Team.
leverage to do
Yeah.
something with it.
Good deal.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Discussion, pay scale amendment and fire officer contract with Mason County Schools.
I'm going to turn this over to Chief Doyle.
I think I briefed most of you all, but this is basically the start, and the late start for the program that we are doing with Mason County Schools, which is the beginning of a fire, Department of Fire Science career pathway program that they are going to do. We're going to send one of our employees and myself out there for part of a day, 3 days a week, to assist with running that program. Since we are doing that, the school system has the funding through some grant resources to reimburse us and pay us for that time. So since we have an employee that's going to be doing that, actually going from a normal 24-48 shift like all the other firefighters to a 40-hour-a-week shift, among some other responsibilities he's going to have. His title and the way his pay structure works changed just a little bit, which makes us have to change that pay scale to include that category in the scale. So not going to be making any more money. It's just basically a way to change the way that is categorized so we can get paid back from the school system.
Any questions for the chief?
But that was just an error in the budget process, wasn't it?
Well, I should have
You knew
probably
it.
caught
Yeah.
this earlier on, we wouldn't have had to change it now and make the amendment. If I would have thought about this back in June, we would have had it done then. And I think, am I right, Kelly, is the resolution on here? I didn't-
Yeah, it's later, the contract.
Right, so we have a resolution for the contract, the actual change of that pay scale, we will do the first reading next meeting, correct?
Correct,
Yeah, I
yes.
didn't- I didn't
Yes, we
prepare
don't
an
have that
ordinance.
ready, no. We don't have an ordinance ready for that.
Any other questions for Chief Doyle? Discussion, or I'm sorry, motion surplus property.
I gave everybody a list of surplus property items that Luke put together, working with Mark and his department. And if everybody's good, all I need is a motion, a second, and approval to surplus these items.
You give me a copy of that. I'll make that.
I'm gonna get you a printer.
No, I should already have it.
I gave it to you.
Uh-uh.
You did.
Have it.
It's in your email. I don't have a hard copy.
I want a hard
I'll get you a hard copy.
Roll call, please.
Whoa, whoa,
Or I need a
do-
motion.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I did.
Yeah, Ann did.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell.
Yes, ma'am.
You got that attachment right, Lisa?
Yes.
Resolution awarding the bid for the Maysville Tank Rehabilitation Project 23-38.
A resolution awarding bid for Maysville Tank Rehabilitation Project. Whereas the city of Maysville advertised for bids in accordance with plans and specifications as follows. Maysville Tank Rehabilitation Project 2023, advertised on May 3rd, 2023, bid opening on May 24th, 2023. Whereas the following bids were received. Number one, G&L Tank LLC, $263,700. Two, Utility Service Inc., $294,800. Three, Currents Construction LLC, $311,450. Four, Viking Painting LLC, $331,800. Five, Dunn Industrial Group LLC, $361,950. Six, V&T Painting LLC, $379,500. Seven, Complete Restoration, $520,600. Whereas the project manager and utility manager have recommended the acceptance of the bid to the G&L Tank LLC as the best bid. Now therefore be it resolved by the city of Maysville, Kentucky as follows. One, the bid of G&L Tank LLC in the sum of $263,700 for the subject contract described above is hereby accepted on behalf of the city of Maysville. Two, the mayor is hereby authorized and directed forthwith to execute all contractual documents necessary or appropriate to effectuate acceptance of said bid and to consummate the contract on behalf of the city of Maysville.
So moved.
Second for discussion. Does that include inspection? An inspector on that job?
Should include everything, Mark.
Yes, does include an inspector on the job. We
Okay.
actually have a tank professionally inspected in November of 22, but for the work they're doing to rehab the tank interior and exterior, yes, it does.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell.
Yes, ma'am. Resolution authorizing the application for Kentucky Community Crisis Co-Response Grant 23-39.
Mayor and Commissioners, if you don't mind, before Kelly reads this, I'd kind of like to give you all a little more information, if that's okay on this. I'm gonna lay the groundwork, and then Major Conley can chime in. Back in late spring, I sat down with Rhonda, Major Conley, Chief Palmer, and Chief Doyle, and we talked about the possibility of hiring a social worker as part of our staff. Chief Palmer will tell you he's been in contact with many other agencies across the state, and this is where things are going for cities. Whether it be trauma incidents with employees, mental health issues, incidents that they're upon with other individuals. So we talked about it, and it got a little late in the budget process. We weren't quite prepared to bring it to you at that time. And then Chris has come across a grant through Cabinet for Health and Family Services, and you want to kind of talk about that a little bit, Chris?
Sure. Yeah, it's through the Department of Medicaid Services as well. And what essentially is that when we are called to a response, with us will go this person, this social worker, to help us either with drug addiction calls, mental health calls, homelessness, many of the calls that we are going on day-to-day basis. And so this person would go alongside with us and would have the opportunity to either themselves provide direct services for them or to do outreach to obtain those services. And then also to follow up, which sometimes we may not have the opportunity to do. So they provide some statistics here. It says 240 million calls are made to 911 each year for law enforcement officers and first responders dealing for social issues, including mental health challenges, substance use, and homelessness. I would say that those three issues cover quite a bit of our call volume. I don't have the exact number, but a substantial amount. And also their reasoning is that they've done some statistical work on this, and it says the risk of being killed while being approached or stopped by law enforcement in the community is 16 times higher for individuals with untreated serious mental illness. So they see that there is a risk to their health, our health, the community, for sure. So us just responding and taking them to jail may solve the problem for that night, but they might be right back out the next day and have these same issues going on. So that's kind of our thought process behind it anyways.
And in looking at it back in the late spring, we were looking at this as a budget item to add another employee. If we're able to obtain this grant, for the first year it's 90% paid, second year it's 75% paid, third year it's 50% paid. Is that correct, Chris?
I think that's right.
So, they're eventually going to phase out the grant money, but we were going to propose this to you anyway. If we were to receive the grant, it would not go into effect till July 1st of next year.
And how long do you have to, with the grant, if it runs out, how long do you have to keep the employee?
Well, at that point, they would be an at-will employee, I would think.
I think their goal is to at least have a 5-year or so.
It's a startup is
yes,
what it is.
It's a startup on it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Ann.
So how much is the grant, do you know?
Oh, gosh, what was it?
Well, there's a projection on here, and I'm sure it's up to this amount, okay? The planning phase is $100,000 from the cabinet, 0 from us on it. Year 1 is a 90-10, $225,000, 25 on us. Year 2 would be $175,000, 75 on us. Year 3 would be
25 on us. 75% is what would be paid by the.
He was given the amount.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm sorry, the
I'm
amount.
sorry, Chris.
And then year 3 was $125,000, $125,000. So 50-50 match
Yeah,
on
I'm
it.
sorry. Yeah. So I mean, for 3 years, it would really, from a budgeting process, it would help. And it happens quite often, and Rhonda can contest to this because she is what I would call our therapist. There are employees that come to her a lot for issues that they may not be having here, but may be having at home. And she'll tell you, she's not an expert at social work, and she doesn't have all the answers. It would help with our employees as well. Would you want to add anything? Is that about right?
We do have employees that have a lot of issues, and if we could have someone that could help them to go in the right direction, that would be very beneficial to our employees and just what you all will need them for as well. I think it would be a great position to have.
Just my thoughts on it too, adding to that is we do have a few police departments that already have this in the state. And this application, this grant application here, they're going to accept 24 applicants across the state and fund them up to $625,000. So just my thought is this is kind of the track that it's going. And I hope it works out great on it. I think it could benefit us for sure. So
Well, when I think about like a week ago and what the fire department and the police had to deal with, I think about the employees too and those circumstances. And not only dealing with the victims, but I know the police department had to deal with the family of some of those. And certainly a social worker would have been beneficial.
And you had a visitor a few days ago who basically, a former fantastic employee of ours who kind of reiterated this. Chief Muse stopped in and he gave his blessing for it.
Well, and he even was looking at some other possibilities. He came with another possibility for funding for social work. Threw that out to us. So apparently from different avenues, that's kind of people are seeing the need for it.
Everybody okay?
Any questions?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would just like some sort of frame of reference going forward for whether or not we find this position useful or not. I mean, my guess is we could have a dozen social workers and it wouldn't be enough for, for the need of what people are running into.
Sure.
So I don't want, my personal opinion is it might be helpful, but I don't want it to be I don't know, I guess I just don't want to start running a deficit because we hire too many social workers or I don't, I want.
Well, right now, we're just looking at one. Yeah, then we can evaluate that. Yes, absolutely, Commissioner. Yeah. Yeah, we can definitely evaluate it as we go. Because, I mean, Chief Palmer and Chief Doyle, they're gonna keep track of calls and and instances.
Just for granted, and Chief Doyle can attest, we've had 4 fatal accidents in the past month and a half. 3 of which are extremely traumatic circumstances. And I haven't had one officer come to me yet. We've checked them with our chaplain program. We're ahead of the game. We're ahead of the curve. We have a great, and I've said it before, you've heard it, we've got a great chaplaincy program. My staff right now are going through, and as I have with the chaplaincy, the review program. We keep tabs on our people. We make sure they're okay. But this is just another tool in our tool bag that how good would it be for us to have somebody to send out to the parents of the 17-year-old kid that my kids played football with, to assist at the high school with the folks that they had come in and talk to these kids. I mean, that means a lot. It means a lot to our community. And we could not get this grant. They could say no, but at least we're having a conversation about it to try to get it, and that's important.
I'll add to it too, if you don't mind. Just today, just hours before we walked in here, we had a gentleman that we arrested for a wanton endangerment charge. He had a 19-month-old child in the home. Of course, we do JC3 and we do paperwork to have people to come out to check on these children, but he had a responsible adult still in the home. But this is someone I could have called and brought in, and they would have responded to the scene and not been overwhelmed with other work, and actually been able to respond and provide services for her and that child right then and there. So the JC3 is a 48-hour follow-up. So somebody will eventually follow up, but it'd been nice to just have them with us.
Right there.
Yeah.
And I just
The children and the
chance,
family.
Conversation, just the chance to apply. Again, it's a grant. They can tell us no pound sand, but at least we're trying to get it.
Good job.
Ready?
Go ahead, brother.
Resolution authorizing application for the Kentucky Community Crisis Co-Response Grant Program through the Cabinet for Health and Family Services and Department of Medicaid Services. Be it resolved by the City of Maysville, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute an application for the Kentucky Community Crisis Co-Response Grant Program through the Cabinet for Health and Family Services and Department of Medicaid Services.
I'll make that motion.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Absolutely, yes.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution authorizing the application for a CAP grant 23-40.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Maysville, Kentucky, authorizing the filing of a fiscal year 2024 transportation alternative application for sidewalk and streetscape improvements, Maysville, Kentucky. Whereas it is necessary and in the public interest that the City Commission of the City of Maysville avail itself of the financial assistance provided by the Transportation Alternative Program to complete renovations on the above-named project within the community. And whereas it is recognized that federal/state contract for such financial assistance pursuant to said act will impose certain obligations and responsibilities upon the city and will require, among other things, 1, approval of a satisfactory application transmitted to the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, 2, local obligation and responsibilities in connection with the undertaking and carrying out of the project, including a 20% funding match, Now therefore be it resolved by the City Commission of the City of Maysville, State of Kentucky, one, that the mayor of the City of Maysville be authorized and directed to prepare such certification and to assure full compliance with all certifications and applications outlined above and all other pertinent regulations. Two, the City of Maysville hold in reserve 20% of the proposed project and is hereby approved, and that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute and file such applications with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, to provide such additional information and to furnish such documentation as may be required, and to act as the authorized correspondent of the city relating to the Transportation Alternative Program.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution to support, in support of the Dover Covered Bridge 23-41.
A resolution in support of restoration of the Dover Covered Bridge. Whereas due to the historical value of wooden covered bridges, and whereas the Dover Covered Bridge is the oldest wooden covered bridge in the state of Kentucky, built in 1835, and whereas only 11 wooden covered bridges remain in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and whereas the Dover Covered Bridge provides tourism revenue for Mason County and the city of Maysville, whereas the Dover Covered Bridge was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1976, and whereas the Kentucky General Assembly has allocated monies to the restoration of other wooden covered bridges in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Maysville, Kentucky, that the city fully supports any petition to the Kentucky General Assembly to allocate funds to the Transportation Cabinet assigned to the restoration of the Dover Covered Bridge.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution authorizing partial mortgage release 23-42.
Mayor and Commissioners, I'm gonna let Kelly explain this one to you real quick before we read it.
So the City of Maysville holds a mortgage on property that was conveyed several years ago to JBR Industrial Services.
In 2013.
They are conveying a .634 acre tract to an adjoining landowner in the amount of $10,000. That $10,000 is then going to be paid onto our mortgage loan balance. And the purchaser, in order to get this transaction accomplished, the purchaser is requesting that we do a partial release on that .634 acres so that they're getting it free and clear of our mortgage. And so it's my recommendation that you authorize the mayor to sign a partial release.
So we're releasing that acreage, but the mortgage remains on the rest.
On
of
the
property.
remainder, yes. So we'll have our protection.
So
Or well, he's gotta read the, sorry, David.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so any other questions? Okay. A resolution authorizing partial mortgage release. Whereas the City of Maysville is the holder of mortgage on property owned by JBR Industrial Services LLC in the City of Maysville, and whereas DMCGL LLC is purchasing a .634 acre tract of land from JBR in the amount of $10,000, which payment will be applied to the aforementioned mortgage loan. Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Maysville, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute the partial mortgage release for said .634 acre tract of land from JBR in the amount of $10,000, which payment will be applied to the mortgage loan.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution authorizing a contract with Mason County Schools for Fire Service Career Path Instruction 23-43.
Resolution authorizing contract with Mason County Schools for Fire Service Career Pathway Instruction. Be it resolved by the City of Maysville that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute a contract with Mason County Schools for providing professional instruction for Fire Service Career Pathway for $50 per person per hour.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Ordinance amending Code of Ordinances, Section 54.02, to remove second regular monthly meeting, first reading 23-12.
An ordinance amending Code of Ordinances, Section 54.02. Summary. This ordinance amends Section 54.02 to delete the second regular meeting each month.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
No, ma'am. Ordinance adopting property tax assessment and setting property tax rates, second reading 23-12.
All right, this one will take a second. Ordinance adopting the assessment of the Mason County Property Valuation Administrator for real and personal property and setting ad valorem tax levies and levying franchise tax on financial institutions, whereas the 2024 ad valorem tax rate on motor vehicles is fixed by KRS 132.487 sub 2 at the rate which could have been levied on January 1, 1983 assessments, and whereas the Board of Commissioners hereby forgoes any other ad valorem tax increases for 2023 which would result from raising the tax rate as authorized by KRS 132.027. Now therefore be it ordained by the City of Maysville as follows. 1, that the assessment of real and personal property made by the Mason County Property Valuation Administrator, reviewed by the Mason County Board of Assessment Appeals, equalized and certified by the Kentucky Revenue Cabinet, and certified by the Mason County Clerk to the City Treasurer as set out below, is hereby accepted and adopted as the assessment of taxable property in the City of Maysville for tax year 2023, which assessment shall be subject to taxation at the rates to be fixed by ordinance. Real property, $535,519,384. Tangible personal property, $77,917,418. Inventories, $88,665,023. 2, the ad valorem taxes shall be levied on all real property for 2023 as shown by the aforesaid assessment, and shall be levied on all real property commencing with the tax year 2023 and thereafter for residents of the City of Maysville, and the tax rate for the tax year is set and established at 0.158 per $100 of valuation pursuant to KRS 92.280 and 132.07. 3, that there is levied a franchise tax at the above rate on financial institutions equal to 0.025% of deposits in such institutions located within and taxable by the city, to be billed by the city clerk by December 1, 2023, and due with 2% discount if paid by December 31st, 2023, or without discount if paid by January 31st, 2024, pursuant to KRS 136.575. 4, that the tax rate for motor vehicles is set and established at 0.2460 per $100 of assessed taxable value taxable in the city in 2024 pursuant to KRS 132.487. 5, that for the purpose of said taxes is fixed, set, established, and levied for general revenues, and all monies are to be paid by the City of to the City of Maysville, same to be paid into the general revenue fund of the said City of Maysville.
So Matt, just to clarify, that is a little bit of a reduction in the percentage for property owners.
That is correct.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, if you don't mind, before you go into closed session, I'd like to take this time to introduce our new comptroller to you all and to the staff. I'd like to welcome Joseph Radosta and his wife, Shabnam, to the City of Maysville. Welcome. You got the floor, bud.
You didn't tell me that part.
Yeah. 20 minutes is your limit.
Well, we just made this drive, so we're
getting caught up in some sleep, but we've had the last 2 days worth of drive and enjoyed the scenery from Tulsa on out to here. And, major change for us to see green, and not dirt and cactus. But enjoying the city so far. Looking forward to starting on Monday and looking forward to hopefully a month from now the rest of my family will be able to join us here. And looking forward to the future ahead for me and our family. So thank you guys.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And staff, if you don't mind, when we go into closed session here, I would respectfully ask that you introduce yourself, if you haven't yet, to Joseph, and let him know what your role is.
Closed session pursuant to KRS 61.8101F, discussion which might lead to the appointment of an individual employee.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see, Rhonda
Okay. See the mayor, and then I gotta get Rick Ross.
Oh, that's right, you got it. Give me just a second to get done here.
Okay.
I need a motion.
I make a motion that we come out of closed session.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. City manager?
We have an appointment to make, Mayor and Commissioners.
To whom it may concern, I am writing to you today to formally recommend Richard Heber to fill the full-time position at the Maysville Mason County Recreation Park. I had the pleasure of working with Richard when he was employed by the City of Maysville Public Works Department. During his time at Public Works, Richard was responsible for a number of duties which included building maintenance, painting, and electrical work. With his knowledge and past work ethic at the Public Works Department, that's why I believe he would be a great asset to the Mason County Recreation Park. As you might imagine, the success of this position relied most heavily on skills and knowledge he already has from his past working experience. I'm pleased to recommend Richard Heber and can speak to his skills and work ethic. Should you require anything further, please feel free to contact me directly. Sincerely, Mike Wells.
I make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. I will entertain a motion to adjourn if there's nothing else.
Oh, ma'am, I don't have anything.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Kevin seen that.